So in the previous class, we were discussing about assumptions of Coulomb, right? So we have seen what is the main difference between Rankine assumptions and Coulomb's assumptions, right? So let me share the screen and show you. So are you able to see the screen? Yes. Students, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Coulomb's wedge theory. Okay. So it is wedge is considered for analysis. Unlike Rankine's theory, Rankine assumed only one soil particle or one soil element. Okay. So whereas Coulomb considered wedge. Okay. A piece of soil mass. Okay. Bulk soil mass is considered for analysis. Okay. So assumptions of Coulomb's are like this. Okay, backfill is dry, soil is cohesionless, homogeneous, isotropic, and ideally plastic material. Okay, slip surface is plain and which passes through the heel of the wall. Okay, so slip surface is always assumed. Okay, and that is why it is said it is passing through the heel of the wall. Okay, so we have seen how the slip surface can be defined in the second unit. Okay, so after first we assume that, and according to the theories we define actually where does the slip surface lies. Okay, and the main assumption is the wall surface is rough. Okay, so which means that there will be frictional force, right? So there will be a interlocking between soil particle and back of the wall. Okay, it means that and there is one more thing, the resultant earth pressure on the wall is inclined. Okay, so if you see the figure regarding Coulomb's wedge theory, so it is a wedge portion. Okay, so it is a wedge portion, and the resultant is making angle of delta. Okay, with the normal. So this is what mentioned here in the assumption, in the fourth assumption. Okay, the sliding wedge itself acts as a rigid body. So you know very well that what is mean by rigid body. Okay, so the sliding wedge is acting like rigid body. It is just assumption. Okay, so these are assumptions of Coulomb's theory. Okay, so this is the diagram of Coulomb's wedge theory. Okay, so here in diagram you can see it is the retaining wall. Okay, so the back of the retaining wall, this is, okay, this is the back of the retaining wall, and which is assumed to be rough, and there is wedge which is having a W weight, and here you can see the surface is inclined. Okay, so this is about the diagram. Okay, here you can see the forced angle. Okay, so with help of this forced triangle, okay, the derivation is explained. Okay, Coulomb's wedge theory derivation is explained. So Coulomb is also scientist who has given the expression for earth pressure. Okay, active earth pressure. Okay, so let us see the video for the derivation. Okay, for active earth pressure according to the Coulomb. Okay. So are you able to see the screen? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So this is a NPTEL video which I am going to play. So these videos are good actually. Okay. So there are many types of NPTEL videos, but this particular video is good. Okay. Which is recorded at IIT Kharagpur. Okay.
Okay.
These were the same assumptions for the
Are you able to listen to the video properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Screen is visible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Rankine's theory, but this theory can also be applied for the C5 soil, okay, under the Coulomb's theory, although the Rankine's theory also extended for the C5 soil. Then the backfill surface is planar and can be inclined, because initially in the Rankine's theory the backfill surface was horizontal, but later on it has been extended for the inclined also. So, but here this theory the backfill surface can be planar or can be inclined, it can be horizontal or can be inclined also. But in the Rankine's theory the our wall or the back of the wall is always vertical. Okay. But here in this theory for the Coulomb's theory the back of the wall can be inclined also. Okay. So, that back of the wall can be inclined. And another one, the failure surface is plane failure surface or linear failure surface. So, that means, if this is the wall, as I mentioned, the failure surface will be the planar, okay, the linear. In the Rankine's also failure surface is linear, and it is always passing through the heel of the wall. Then the others are next assumptions as that in the Rankine's theory we saw that the point direction of the force is parallel to the backfill surface. Okay. So, now that means it is so that means if this is the wall and if it is perfectly horizontal. So, this is the PA direction for the Rankines, okay. But for the Coulomb, so even if the wall is horizontal, so it will act at a angle of delta. What is delta? So, delta is the friction angle between soil and the wall. So, that is the another difference between the Rankines and Coulombs. In the Rankine's theory, it is assumed that wall is smooth, perfectly smooth, that means delta value is 0. But here the delta value, the friction between wall and the soil is also incorporated. So, it is assumed that there is a friction value delta, and this PA will act with an angle delta with the normal to the wall. So, that means this line is the normal to the wall and PA is acting with an angle delta with this normal. That is for the Coulombs, this is for the Rankines. If it is inclined backfill, suppose this is the inclined backfill. Okay. So, as per the Rankines, so this is the P. P is also acting I with angle I to the horizontal. Okay. So, that means this as per the Rankine's theory, this PA is always parallel to the backfill. But if for the incline also, this is making an angle delta with the normal to the wall. So, this is Rankine and this one is the Coulombs and this is also Rankine. Okay. So, these are the difference between the Rankines and the Coulomb. and always this sliding wedge is considered to be rigid body. Sliding wedge means, as I mentioned, that when there will be a planar failure surface, so this wedge, so this is the wall, this is the wall, and this is the failure plane. So this wedge will slide along this failure plane. So this wedge is considered to be rigid. Okay, this is a rigid body. So these are the assumptions considered by the Coulombs. Okay. Now first we will consider for the active case, and then we will consider for the passive case. Okay. So this is the wall, and as I mentioned, now wall can be inclined also. Okay. So here this wall is making an angle alpha with the horizontal, and beta the making an angle beta with the vertical. So alpha will be 90 minus beta. Okay. So this is the wall surface which is no longer vertical, which can be inclined also, and this is the backfill surface which can be also inclined, and this is the failure wedge. Okay. So this is the planar surface, this is the planar failure surface. So this wedge is rigid body which is sliding along this surface. So now if I consider this wedge, and what are the forces acting? Okay. The forces acting is the weight of this wedge. So if we draw this force diagram, so this is the weight of the wedge which is acting. Now this reaction of this soil, because this wedge is sliding along this failure surface. So there will be a reaction force, because here there will be a normal force, and then there will be a this along this line there will be a shear force also. So that means shear stress, this is normal stress, shear stress. So this is the resultant force. So resultant force is making an angle theta minus phi. Okay. So you can see that this angle is, if I draw this line parallel to this one, this angle is also theta. Okay. So this is making an angle theta minus phi. So this is the theta minus phi with the vertical. So this angle theta minus phi with the vertical. So this R is making an angle theta minus phi with the vertical. Okay. So now what another force is the PA, active earth pressure. So PA is making an angle delta minus phi with the vertical. Okay. Delta minus alpha minus delta. So if you draw this line, so that means this is also alpha. So this is also alpha. So your this angle is 90 degree. So this total one is also alpha. Okay. So this angle is alpha, and this one is the 90 degree. So you can write this total one is also alpha. This total one is also alpha. Okay. And this is making an angle with the vertical. This is the xi. Xi is equal to alpha minus delta. So that's why it is alpha minus delta angle it is working. So that means the R is making an angle theta minus phi with the vertical, and PA is making an angle delta minus alpha minus delta with the vertical. So this is the force diagram of all the three forces. Now what I will do, that actually I want to determine the weight of this wedge. So before that, if I take the force polygon, this force polygon, so I can write that PA sin, this is theta minus phi, that will be equal to W, and this angle is 180 degree minus alpha minus delta, or this will be the minus delta minus theta minus phi. Okay. So, similarly, I can write W divided by sine 180 degree minus alpha minus theta plus phi plus delta. Okay. So, I can write from this first polygon. So, now this is the angle. So, finally, P A will be W into sine theta minus phi 180 degree minus alpha minus theta plus phi plus delta. So, here only variable is the theta. Okay. Other things are known. We know the alpha because this is the angle this wall is making, that is fixed. Your phi value is the property, that is fixed. Delta value, it is also fixed. So, only variable is the phi, because depending upon this phi, this P A value will change. Okay. So, now we have to optimize this P A value. So, how we will optimize that? And before I going to optimize that, by this one we can calculate the weight of the wedge, because this weight of the wedge is required. So, I will calculate the weight of the wedge. Weight of the wedge will be the half this gamma into A. So, A is the half into the weight of the wedge is equal to half into gamma, area is AC into BD. Okay. So, this is the weight of this wedge. So, AC we will get with this expression and BD will get with these expressions. So, these expressions are coming from the geometry. So, you will get that, because AC you will get again from the AC by, because this is AC. So, AC divided by sine, because this is also alpha. So, I can write from this triangle that AC divided by sine I plus alpha, that is equal to AB, this is AB and this angle. Okay. This angle will be, this is your, this angle is theta minus I, okay, divided by sine theta minus I. So, this is theta. So, this angle will also be, this angle will also be theta, the total angle. Again this is I. So, this angle is I. So, this value, this angle is finally theta minus I. So, these are from the geometry, you can see this geometry. So, finally, this is the expression. So, AC I can write with this way, and BD also from this triangle, this is the BD, and this angle BD is the AB is this one, and this angle we know this is your, this is the alpha and theta. So, this angle will be 180 degree minus alpha plus theta. Okay. So, from here I can also get an expression for BD and AB. So, AB also H, this is the AB is this one and this is the H, this angle is alpha. So, if I know the H, if I know the alpha, I can get the AB also. AB also H by sin alpha, because you know that from here AB H by AB is equal to sin alpha from this triangle. If I extend this triangle, so this is H is the height by AB is equal to sin alpha. So, I can write AB is equal to H by sin alpha. Okay. So, all this value you will get from this geometry, and then finally, we will get the W, and this is the expression of the W. So, that expression I will put here. So, I will put this W expression here from this final expression I will put here. So, we will get a P A expression where except theta all values are fixed. So, only variable is theta. So, we have to optimize that. Okay. So, we will optimize by minimizing this. So, making, so when we are talking about the active, so we have to minimize that. When we are talking when you are talking about the active, we have to maximize. When we was talking about the passive, we have to minimize. So, in the case of active, it is minimization or maximization, and when the passive, it is minimization. Okay. So, in case of, so both the cases you have to make dPAW by d theta and make it 0, because this is the minimization and maximization process. So, and only variable is the theta. So, remember that in case of active it is maximization, in case of passive it is minimization. In case of active, we choose that theta value such that we will get the maximum force, and in case of passive we will get the minimum force. Okay. And so, finally, after maximization, we will get the expression of K A like this. Okay. So, this is the expression of K A, and finally, the force is similar to the Rankine's theory, but only the K A expression is different. Now, what is the difference in the Rankines and the Coulomb? As I mentioned, in Rankines, the I value is 0, delta value is 0, and wall is perfectly vertical. So, alpha value is 90 degree. So, if you put this value in this expression, you will get the same 1 minus sin phi divided by 1 plus sin phi. So, if you put these values here, then you will get this expression. Okay. So, this is the all the things are incorporated in the Coulomb's theory. Okay. Now, sometimes this K expression is also written in a different form. So, I am giving that form. So, the K is sometimes written in this form also, this K, you can write this form also, and another way K is written cos square phi minus beta cos square beta cos delta plus beta 1 plus root over sin phi plus delta, then sin phi minus I, this is cos delta plus beta, then cos I minus beta, that is whole square. So, it is written in this form also. Okay. Either you can use this one or you can use this one. So, this is for the active. Similarly, for the passive, the similar way we can get the W value, but here there is these angles are changing. Initially, for the active, this is making alpha minus delta and this is theta minus phi. Now, this angle alpha plus delta, this is theta plus phi in case of passive. So, again we will get the P, we will get the W, the same expression we will put there, and then we will we minimize this one. So, this is the minimization, and then finally, we will get this expression of K A. Now, again if you put this value here, we will get same the Rankine's K P. Okay. And again I am writing this K P can be written in another form, that is cos square phi plus beta, this is cos square beta cos delta minus beta 1 minus root over sin phi plus delta sin phi plus I, then cos delta minus beta cos I minus beta, that is equal to square. So, either you can use this one or this one, both are the same expression in different form. Okay. So, this way you can use this Coulomb's theory also to calculate the earth pressure. So, when I solve the retaining wall problem, in that time I will use this Coulomb's theory and I will show you how you can determine the earth pressure. I have not solved the problem for inclined backfill also, that I will also solve when I will design the retaining wall. Okay.
Right. Students, have you noted down the expressions for Ka and Kp? Yes. Have you noted down the formulae? Have you noted down the derivation? See, once I'll show you expression for Ka. Are you able to hear me? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So first note down the expression for Ka and also for Pa so that you can solve a problem. Okay. So note down these expressions Pa and Ka. So let me show you the expression for Kp and Pp. Try to note down these expressions so that you can solve a problem. Right. So have you noted down the expressions? Yes or no? So are you able to see the problem here on the screen? Yes. Students, are you able to see the problem?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So try to solve the problem. Can anyone read out the problem? Yes. So Indu Reddy, can you read out the problem?
Ma'am,
Yes. Can you read out the problem?
determine the Coulomb active force on the retaining wall shown in the figure, ma'am.
Can you read out the data which is given? Indu.
Gamma equal to 17.5 kilonewton per meter cube.
Yes.
I equal to 15 degrees. Pi dash is equals to 30 degrees.
Yes.
Delta is equals to 20 degrees. R is equals to 17.5 kilonewton per gamma. Gamma equal to 17.5 kilonewton per meter cube.
Right.
Beta equal to 75 degrees.
Right. So, see, it is very important to know all these angles. Okay, all are angles only. See, if you see the data, there are 4 angles. Okay, so you need to understand what does each angle means. Okay, so I means inclination angle, which means the ground surface is making angle of 15 degrees, or it is the inclination which is made by ground surface with the horizontal. Okay, phi is the internal resistance. Okay, it is a property of soil. Okay, otherwise we can say it is frictional angle also, but as we are having one more frictional angle here, okay, let us say it as internal frictional angle. Okay, phi is the property of soil. Okay, internal property of soil. And what is delta? So sir was explaining neatly what is meant by delta, right? So as we discussed, in the case of Coulomb's theory, the wall surface is rough. The wall surface is rough, so there will be existence of friction. Okay, so that frictional force is making angle of 20 degrees with the back of the retaining wall. Okay, so it means that. Okay, so what is beta? What is beta? Can anyone tell me by seeing in the diagram what is beta? So it is very important to know the difference between each angle. Okay, there are 4 to 5 angles there in the equation. What is beta?
Complementary angle.
So what do you understand? Can you tell me it in the terms of retaining wall?
Angle made by the retaining wall with ground.
Right, good. So it is the back angle. Okay, it is the angle made by the retaining wall with the ground surface. Okay, back side, right? So right, so what is gamma? Gamma is the representation for
Unit weight.
right unit weight. So this is the given data for you, and what is that you need to calculate actually? Yes. What is that you need to calculate? What is unknown for you?
PA, ma'am.
PA, right? So can anyone tell me the formula for PA?
Half gamma h square Ka.
Of gamma h square Ka, right? So Ka formula, can anyone tell me the formula for Ka?
Cos square of phi minus beta by cos square of beta into cos square of delta plus beta into 1 plus under root sine of phi plus delta into sine of phi minus I by cos of delta plus beta into cos of phi minus
Right.
beta.
So h is how much? H is how much here?
5.
5 meters.
Meter, ma'am.
Right. So substitute the values and tell me the answer. Okay. First tell me what is how much you will get for Ka, then tell me what is Pa. Yes, calculate and tell me what is Pa and what is Ka. Right. So how much you got for KA? Students, tell me the value of KA. Yes. Are you calculating? Harshita. Yes. How much you got for KA? Yes. Your voice is lagging, Harshita. Yes. Srihita. Jesa Randy, how much you got for KA? ఎస్ ఏమైందండి ఎవరు ఆన్సర్ చెప్పట్లేదు చేస్తున్నారా లేదా డూ యూ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ డిఫికల్టీ ఎస్ డూ యూ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ డిఫికల్టీ ఆర్ ఆర్ యూ ఏబుల్ టు సాల్వ్ 0.54 right it is correct right is there anyone who got different answer other than 0.54 the ka value is 0.54 is there anyone who got a different value right so just calculate and tell me what is pa someone is speaking how much you got for pa
119.8.
ashita your voice is lagging
119.8.
right 119.89 what is a unit
Yes.
unit
Kilonewton per meter.
kilonewton pressure force you need to calculate right force it is what should be the unit
Kilonewton.
so aditya have you got the same answer
Yes,
the pa
ma'am.
the pa how much you got yes aditya how much you got for pa right so the pa should be 119.8 or 9 kilonewtons okay it is force right kilonewtons and one more point you need to understand here so you have calculated the magnitude right so you have calculated the magnitude so you need to understand where does it lie right where does it exist the pa right so the pa always exists from the base see here the reference is base okay from the base it should be acting at h by 3. Okay, h by 3 means 5 by 3 distance. Okay, from the base the PA will be acting at 5 by 3 distance, and it is making angle of 20 degrees, right? So we have determined the magnitude, the location of force, okay, right, and direction also, okay. Right. Students, so we have seen Coulomb's theory and a problem on Coulomb's theory. Now we'll discuss Coulomb's theory. Okay, Coulomb's theory, right? Coulomb's earth pressure theory, right? So we have discussed in the third unit Rankins theory, Coulomb's theory, right? So these methods were talking about the earth pressure calculation, right? It might be the active state earth pressure or passive state earth pressure. So these earth pressures magnitude was calculated with the help of Mohr circles most of the time, right? With help of Mohr circles or from geometry, right, or from some mathematical equations. By using some mathematical simplifications, the equations were derived, right? It might be the Rankins theory or the Coulomb's theory, right? So there is one more scientist called Coulomb. Okay, Coulomb is a scientist who has given a graphical procedure completely. Okay, so it's a graphical procedure only, there are no equations. Okay, only graph is there. With help of graph we'll be calculating the PA. Okay, so we'll discuss the procedure to calculate the PA. Okay, and it is given by the scientist Coulomb. Okay, so this theory, okay, it can be used to determine Coulomb earth pressure. So whatever earth pressure we calculated, okay, the PA just now, okay, so PA, it also can be calculated by using this graphical method. Okay, and it is applicable for various surcharge loads and layered backfills. Okay, so I hope you know what is mean by layered backfill. Yes, can anyone tell me what is mean by layered backfill? Yes, can anyone tell me what is mean by layered backfill? Right, so backfill is nothing but it is the soil which is existing at the back of retaining wall, right? So it is a soil which is existing at the back of retaining wall, and it is mentioned it is layered. Okay, so at some particular depth, okay, it is varying. Okay, so the soil properties are not similar throughout this height of the retaining wall. Okay, so there may be some silty soil here, there may be some clayey soil here, or there may be gravel soil present at the bottom. Okay, so the soil is layered. Okay, so in this case also this Coulomb method is applicable. Okay, so this point is not mentioned in Rankins theory and in Coulomb's theory. Okay, so Coulomb's theory is applicable for layered soils also. Okay, right, so let us discuss this graphical procedure now. So are you able to see the image here, students? Yes, are able to see the image?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so see, this is a retaining wall. Okay, this is the retaining wall. Okay, and this is the back of the retaining wall. AB is the back of the retaining wall. Okay, so what is that procedure? The first step, okay, to draw a Coulomb graph. Okay, the first step is to draw a line, a BD line, okay, like this. Okay, so the BD line is making angle of phi with the horizontal. Okay, first step is to draw a BD line which makes an angle of phi, okay, with the horizontal, right? And the second step is to draw a line, again one more line, that is BL. Okay, the name of the second line is BL. Okay, and which is making angle of psi. Okay, so if you see the BD line, okay, if you see the BD line, this BD line is called as weight line. Okay, there is one more name for BD line. This line is called as weight line because we represent weights on this line. Okay, so we have seen just now by using Coulomb's wedge theory how to calculate the weights. Okay, so by using Coulomb's theory we'll be calculating the weight, that is W, and we represent that on the graph. Okay, right. So see here, the psi angle should be such that it should be beta minus delta. Okay, the angle of psi should be beta minus delta, and psi is the angle which is made by the line BL. Okay, so these are the first steps. Okay, first step is to draw a BD line, and second step is to draw a BL line. Okay, the third step is to assume a failure surface. Assume a failure surface. Okay, let me highlight this. So assume a failure surface like this. Right. So the third step is to assume a failure surface. Okay. Sorry. Failure surface BF. Right, so this is the assumed one. Okay, and you can have a triangle like this. You can draw a horizontal line, okay, like this. You can draw a horizontal line and you can have a triangle like this. Okay, so you assumed a failure plane BF and you have drawn a horizontal line so that you will be obtaining a triangle like this. Okay, so after obtaining a triangle you can calculate the weights of this triangle or weight of this failure wedge. Okay, so you have seen the procedure just now to calculate the weight of a failure wedge. Okay, right. See, we have said that the BD line is called as weight line, right? The BD line is called as weight line. So we need to represent this weight on this BD line. Okay, W on this BD line, right? So how we are going to represent it? Okay, so this BP, okay, BP is equal to the W. Okay, so you need to represent the weight, okay, weight magnitude on the BD line. Okay, and you need to start at B point and you need to start end at P point. Okay, so wherever you are ending on the graph, the weight, okay, that end point of weight is considered to be P. Okay, So we have seen 4 steps till now. So can anyone repeat me? What are the 4 steps? Yes. What are the 4 steps? Can anyone repeat? Yes. What is the first step to draw a graph? Coulomb graph.
Ma'am, wait line, ma'am.
Yeah, weight line. What is the name of weight line with letters? Can you tell me?
Ma'am, BD line.
BD line. What should be the angle for BD line?
And five, ma'am.
Angle?
5, ma'am. 5.
Right. So can other person tell me what is second step? First step is to draw a BD line. Okay, BD line, which is making angle phi. Right. So can anyone tell me what is second step here? Yes. Can anyone tell me the second step? Quickly. Vishnu. చెప్తారా అండి సెకండ్ స్టెప్? What happened to you people?
Ma'am.
Yes. Can anyone tell me the second step? Hey, speak out.
Ma'am, BL line.
Right. So the second step is to draw BL line, right? BL line. BL line is drawn, right? So this is the second step. So what should be the angle of BL? Yes. What should be the angle? Psi. Psi. Right. Psi should be equal to how much?
Beta minus delta.
Right. Beta minus delta. Right. And what is the third step?
Failure surface, ma'am.
Right. We need to assume a failure surface BF. Right. And we need to draw a horizontal so that a triangle can be formed. And for this, what is the fourth step? What is the fourth step? Yes, this is the third step. Okay, assuming failure surface is the third step. What is the fourth step?
Calculation of weight.
Calculation of weight and representation of weight, right? So where do we represent this weight?
Ma'am, on weight
On the
line, ma'am. BD line.
On the weight line, right? On the line BD. You need to start at B and wherever you are ending, okay? You need to, that end point is represented as P, okay? So this P point always depends upon the magnitude of weight, okay? The value of weight, okay? It may vary, right? So this is a fourth step, representing weight on the BD line, right? Right. This is the fourth step. So what is the fifth step? Okay. So a line PQ need to be drawn. Okay. So a line PQ need to be drawn. So what is this Q point where it is ending? Where Q point is represented? S.
Yes.
So Q point, okay, or if you see the PQ line is parallel to the BL line, okay, you need to draw a PQ line which should be parallel, almost parallel to the BL line, and you need to end up this PQ line, okay, whenever there is a intersection point of assumed failure surface. Okay, this line should meet the assumed failure surface BF. Okay, so this point is considered as Q point. Okay, so this is the fifth step. Drawing the PQ line is the fifth step. Okay. So what does this PQ line represents? Okay, what does this PQ line represents? So PQ line magnitude is equal to PA. Okay, PQ is equal to PA, right? So what is this PA? What is PA? Active earth pressure of what?
Coulombs.
Right. So it is the Coulomb's active earth pressure for assumed failure plane BF. Okay. For assumed plane, see the PA is only about the failure plane BF. Okay. It is only regarding BF. Okay. Or else you can say, or it is about ABF wedge. Okay. Right. Right. So as we are saying from the beginning, BF is the assumed failure surface, and you can't consider this as a end thing, right? So you need to assume uh, 2 to 3 more failure surfaces like this. Okay, so BF dash, right? BF dash and BF double dash and BF triple dash. Okay, so you need to assume 3 to 4 failure planes like this. Okay, and you need to calculate, or you need to draw PQ line, PQ dash line. Okay, right? PQ double dash line like this. Okay, so you need to draw these lines. Okay, so we have seen, we discussed the procedure to draw PQ lines, right? So you need to repeat the procedure to draw these lines. Okay, PQ double dash. Okay, like this. Okay, PQ dash, PQ triple dash, right? So whatever, okay, so it may not be PQ. Okay, so you can represent some other letter also. Okay, right? So right, otherwise you can say P dash, P double dash, like that. Okay, so and see, these points need to be joined with a curve. Okay, all these Q points need to be joined with a curve. Okay, q Q dash, okay, Q double dash, all these Q's need to be joined with, okay, right? So you can see clearly now. Okay, see, from weight line different lines are drawn, like PQ line there are different lines are drawn. Okay, so and all these points are represented, are joined with a curve. Okay, curve, right? So what is the name of this curve? Okay, the name of the curve is Coulomb's curve. Okay, Coulomb's curve or Coulomb's line, right? So Coulomb's line or Coulomb curve is the curve which is joining the Q points. Okay, or the meeting points of failure surfaces. Okay, failure surfaces with the line which is coming from the weight line. Okay, these are intersection points, right? So whatever the line or the curve which is joining these Q points, is called as Coulomb line or Coulomb curve, right? So there is one more step. You need to draw one more line. Okay, one more line, right? So which is parallel to BD, which is parallel to BD, right? So right. So you can see this dotted line, right? So this dotted line you need to draw, right? And it is almost parallel to the BD, right? So this point is considered as tangent point, okay? Tangent point, okay? And whatever the line which is coming from the tangent point to the weight line, okay? So this magnitude is considered as P max, okay? So whatever the surface or failure surface which is passing through this, okay, so that is the actual failure surface, okay? So we said bf double dash, all these are assumed plane or assumed failure surfaces, right? But whatever we get here, okay, this is like a real failure surface, okay? So from the Coulomb graph we are able to tell, right? We are able to tell what is the actual failure surface also, okay? So here this tangent point is important, okay? And it is obtained by drawing a parallel line to the BD, okay? And wherever Coulomb line is intersecting, okay, that point is called as the tangent point, okay? Right. So this is a procedure of Coulomb's graph, okay? Right. So I'll show you the slides once again, okay? So this was discussed till now. So as we discussed, a line BD is drawn first and a line BL is drawn. Next, a failure surface BF is assumed, right? And where W is calculated and represented on the BD line, okay? And a line PQ is drawn, right? So, and it should be parallel to BL, right? And it should intersect a failure surface BF, okay? Assumed failure surface BF. Likewise, this length of PQ or length of PQ represents the magnitude of PA, okay? So it is a magnitude of assumed failure surface BF, right? Likewise, we need to repeat the procedure, okay, for different failure planes, BF double dash, BF dash, like that, okay? And we need to draw a smooth curve by joining the points of Q's, and the smooth curve is called as Coulomb line or Coulomb's curve, okay? And a tangent is drawn to Coulomb's line, okay? Coulomb curve, for Coulomb curve a tangent need to be drawn, and it should be parallel to the BD, okay? And point T need to be represented, okay? Point T, intersection point, right? And the magnitude of largest value P max of PA is measured from the tangent point to the BD line or the weight line, okay? It is equal to the Coulomb's active earth pressure. Whatever we are obtaining the P max value from the graphical procedure of Coulomb, it is equal to the PA of Coulomb, okay? So as we said, the actual failure plane passes through the point of tangent, okay? Right. So this is a Coulomb graphical procedure. So have you got any doubt in any step? So there are 11 steps. Yes. Do you have any doubt in this procedure? Anywhere? Any doubt anywhere in Coulomb's graph? Right. So Raghavendra. Are you there in the class, Raghavendra? Yes, are you there in the class? Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me or not? Yes. Are you able to hear me or not, students?
Yes, ma'am.
So, what happened, Raghavendra? Why you are not speaking? Right. So, Ashrit, can you tell me what are the topics covered in today's class? Ashrit,
మ్యామ్
can you tell?
Ma'am,
మ్యామ్
Raghavendra, చెప్పు.
చెప్పండి మ్యామ్.
టాపిక్స్ ఏమేమి కవర్ అయినాయి ఈరోజు క్లాస్లో చెప్తారా?
hello ma'am, can you?
యా Ashrit, I am able to hear you. Right. So, Srihita, can you tell me what are the topics covered in today's class? Yes? Srihita? ఏమైందండి, ఎవరిని అడిగితే వాళ్ళు మాట్లాడరా?
Coulomb's wedge theory, ma'am.
Coulomb's wedge theory, right. Next. After that? అంతేనా, అదొకటేనా?
ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ మ్యామ్.
ప్రాబ్లం. నెక్స్ట్.
Active earth pressure for sand.
యాక్టివ్ ఎర్త్ ప్రెజర్ ఫర్
Sand.
ప్రెజర్స్ ఆన్ రిటైనింగ్ వాల్ మ్యామ్.
ప్రెజర్ ఆన్ రిటైనింగ్ వాల్. మెథడ్ ఏంటి, నేమ్ ఆఫ్ ది మెథడ్?
గుర్తు రావట్లే మ్యామ్ మెథడ్ పేరు.
ఇప్పుడే మర్చిపోతే ఎట్లా? 5 నిమిషాల కింద చెప్పింది. ఎస్. అరవింద్.
Coulomb's construction for active pressure.
Yes, Coulomb graphical procedure for determining the active earth pressure, right? Right. Yes. అరవింద్,
మ్యామ్
చాలా రోజుల తర్వాత ఉన్నట్టున్నారు క్లాస్లో, ఏమైనా అర్థమైందా?
అర్థమైంది మేడం.
అర్థమైతే ఓకే.
అర్థం చేసుకున్నా మేడం కాకుండా.
ఓకే. సో రాజశేఖర్, డూ యూ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ డౌట్? రాజశేఖర్ ఉన్నారా క్లాస్లో?
ఉన్నాను మేడం.
డూ యూ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ డౌట్ ఎనీవేర్?
Coulomb's ఎర్త్ ప్రెషర్ సరిగ్గా అర్థం కాదు.
గ్రాఫికల్ ప్రొసీజరా?
ఎస్ మ్యామ్.
సో నేను మీకు ఇది పీపీటీ షేర్ చేస్తాను, ఒక్కొక్క స్టెప్ చదవండి. ఓకే, ఈజీగానే పెట్టాను ప్రొసీజర్. మీరు ఇప్పుడు విన్నారు కదా, ఆల్రెడీ విన్న తర్వాత చదివితే ఇంకా ఈజీగా అర్థం అవుతుంది. ఓకేనా?
ఓకే మ్యామ్. ఓకే మ్యామ్.
7. Right. So next, see, we discussed in today's class about Coulomb's wedge theory and Coulomb's graphical procedure, right, to determine the active earth pressure. So by today's class, we ended up with earth pressure theories. Okay, only half of the third unit is completed by today's class. Okay, in the next class, we'll start the retaining wall concept. Okay, so before coming to the next class, it was discussed already for you what is doing by retaining wall, what is the function of retaining wall. Okay, it was discussed already, and it was shown to you already where we will be constructing the retaining walls, what is the purpose of constructing the retaining wall. Okay, and in the next coming classes we'll be discussing the design of retaining walls. Okay, see, these two are interrelated. Earth pressure and retaining wall design are interrelated. Okay, that is why these two are mentioned are under the third unit for you. Okay, right. Thank you. I am winding up the session. Students, thank you. You can leave the meeting.